welcome to the deep dive. You know, it's pretty unique how celebrities live their lives so publicly. Sometimes that visibility lets us witness some really profound, deeply human journeys unfold.
He really does. Almost in real time sometimes.
Exactly. So today we're diving into some recent updates from the world of celebrity health. We're focusing specifically on the incredibly candid cancer journeys of several well-known figures.
Yeah.
And our mission really is to pull out the key insights, the practical takeaways from these very personal stories, trying to understand the different ways people navigate a diagnosis like this.
From that initial shock through the long-term battles and sometimes these remarkable recoveries.
Right. And for this, we're looking at a recent news piece about James Van Der Beek's ongoing journey, and also sort of a compilation of other celebrities who've been open about their own cancer experiences.
Yeah, it's a powerful set of sources. These are people many of us feel a connection to, perhaps grew up watching. Their willingness to share something so vulnerable, it offers a unique window, I think.
A window into resilience, the reality of these medical challenges, and like you said, personal transformation sometimes.
Definitely.
Okay, so let's get into it. James Van Der Beek. There's a pretty significant update here. He shared, this was July 30th, 2025, that he was diagnosed with stage 3 colorectal cancer.
And that diagnosis came back in August 2023.
Right. And what really stood out to me was his honesty about it likely being a process he'll be dealing with, well, for the rest of his life. He even called living with cancer a full-time job.
That phrase, full-time job, that really resonates, doesn't it? It captures the sheer amount of effort involved.
It does. He talked about major lifestyle changes, diet, exercise, really having to prioritize rest, taking things slower.
And I think the insight there is crucial, even for someone, presumably with resources. A chronic illness like cancer demands this huge, often unseen amount of labor.
Yeah, hidden labor is a good way to put it. It reshapes everything.
It really does. It forces you to completely redefine what normal or even success looks like day to day.
And what struck me was how surprised he was by the diagnosis. He said he thought he was way ahead of the game, getting screened at 46.
Mm-hmm. Healthy guy, in great shape.
Exactly. Amazing cardiovascular shape, felt he had no reason for it to be positive. It just hammers home how unpredictable this disease can be.
It really does. And his experience, it sort of highlights this fallacy, maybe, that a healthy lifestyle equals total immunity.
Right. We think if we eat well, exercise, we're invincible.
But disease can still find a way. It shatters that feeling of control. And it points to something really practical, too. The need to stay aware of health guidelines.
Ah, yes, he mentioned that specifically.
He did. He said he hadn't realized the recommended screening age for colorectal cancer had actually changed. It's 45 now.
He thought he was early at 46, but the guideline had already shifted.
Exactly. And that small detail, it just underscores how vital it is to keep up with preventative care recommendations, because they do evolve.
It's such a crucial point for everyone, really. But, okay, despite this ongoing battle, he's also finding ways through it. I thought this was interesting. He talked about work, getting back on set for the Legally Blonde prequel, Elle.
Oh, yeah. What did he say?
He said, the greatest thing about work is a cancer doesn't exist between action and cut.
Wow. That's powerful. Finding that space, that little bubble where the illness just fades for a moment.
It seems like a really important coping mechanism. But he's also been incredibly open about the darker side, the emotional toll.
He shared some of that on Instagram back in March 2025, right?
Yes. He talked about coming nose to nose with death. And the really heartbreaking part of feeling unable to be a helpful husband or a dad who could even pick up his kids or a provider while he was away getting treatment, it just shows the immense weight of it all beyond just the physical illness.
Absolutely. The ripple effects are huge.
And it sounds like wrestling with all that led him to something quite profound, personally. Through meditation, he said this realization came. I am worthy of God's love simply because I exist. And then he followed it with, and if I'm worthy of God's love, shouldn't I also be worthy of my own? And the same is true for you. Wow, especially facing mortality.
That's incredibly deep. It speaks to how extreme adversity can sometimes act as a catalyst. It can strip away the ego, the superficial stuff, and reveal these core truths about self-worth.
Like finding value just in existing.
Exactly. And for him to reach that point and then share it so openly, it sends a powerful message, doesn't it? That our worth isn't tied to our health or what we can do, but just to being here.
A really powerful takeaway. And James Van Der Beek's story, it's one major example, but our sources cover a whole range of celebrity cancer journeys. Each one is different.
Yeah, it's definitely not a one-size-fits-all experience. We see these long-term battles like his seems to be shaping up to be, but also, stories of complete recovery and people becoming real advocates.
So let's maybe touch on some of those other experiences. It's important to show that spectrum.
Agreed. And we should probably start by acknowledging that not every story ends with remission. That's a tough reality.
Right. Like Jerry Turner from The Golden Bachelor. He shared his diagnosis in December 2024. It's Waldenstrom's macroglobulinemia.
Which is a type of bone cancer, quite rare.
And he was very direct. Unfortunately, there's no cure for it. He described the news hitting him like 10 tons of concrete, admitted he was in denial at first.
And that provides a really important contrast. It highlights the reality of living with an incurable illness, where resilience means managing, adapting, not necessarily conquering.
A different kind of strength. Then you have those who face cancer more than once. Recurrent battles.
Yes, like Colin Egglesfield. People might know him from All My Children. He got a prostate cancer diagnosis in January 2025.
And that was his third time dealing with cancer.
Third time. Unbelievable. But then just a month later, February 2025, he announced he was cancer-free again after surgery and treatment.
That's incredible resilience.
And his message was powerful too. You're not defined by any of your challenges. You're grander than it all. That speaks volumes about the mental fortitude needed, especially with recurrence.
Absolutely. And Camille Grammer, too, right? Multiple diagnoses over the years.
That's right. Endometrial cancer back in 2013, then squamous cell carcinoma, a skin cancer, in 2017, and she just celebrated being a year cancer-free this past January. Her story really highlights that ongoing vigilance that's sometimes required.
It's a constant journey for some. And speaking of recurrence and vigilance, Hugh Jackman comes to mind.
Ah, yes, with the basal cell carcinomas, skin cancer.
He's had several removed over the years, treated for a third in 2014, then had more biopsies just last April in 2023.
And what's key with him is his consistent message: wear sunscreen. He uses his platform constantly for that.
Which brings up another important point, doesn't it? How these public figures use their experience.
Exactly. They leverage that visibility.
Yeah.
They can help destigmatize the illness, promote health behaviors. Jackman with sunscreen is a prime example.
It reminds me of Sharon Osbourne, too. After her colon cancer diagnosis in 2002, she really hammered home the importance of getting screened.
Yes. Turning a personal battle into a public health message. And Melissa Etheridge, too, after breast cancer in 2005. She became such a powerful activist for awareness and research.
So they don't just share the story, they actively try to make a difference.
They become advocates, they shape how we think about it,
Wait.
maybe encourage someone listening to get that checkup.
And beyond advocacy, we also see people finding purpose or even just moments of normalcy within the challenge. We mentioned Van Der Beek finding that on set.
Right. And another really striking example of that is Julia Sweeney.
Oh, the comedian. God said, ha.
Exactly. She took her breast cancer experience and turned it into this incredible, funny, moving one-woman show.
That's just amazing. Using humor and creativity as a way to cope, to process.
And to reclaim some sense of control, perhaps. It shows there's no single right way to go through something like this. People find their own path.
There are so many other stories, too. Jim Beaver, prostate cancer, cancer-free. Ariana Maddox, melanoma removed. Marcia Cross, anal cancer, feeling liberated after talking about hair loss.
Dustin Hoffman, surgically cured. Kobe Smulders, ovarian cancer at just 25, then had 2 kids. Dr. Drew, prostate cancer. Brooke Burke, thyroid. Angie Everhart.
Christina Applegate, breast cancer, double mastectomy. Michael C. Hall, Hodgkin's lymphoma. Michelle Monaghan, Ewan McGregor both had cancerous moles removed.
Sheryl Crow, Michael Douglas, Edie Falco, Anderson Cooper reminding people about SBF, like Jackman, Kylie Minogue, Barry Watson, Maura Tierney.
Sharon Osbourne, as we said. Robert De Niro, Robin Roberts being so open during chemo. Lance Armstrong, obviously a huge story. Melissa Etheridge, Julia Sweeney. Cynthia Nixon. It's a long list.
It really is. And each name represents a unique journey, a different facet of this experience.
What an incredible range we've covered today. From those long-term situations, the ongoing management, like with James Van Der Beek or Jerry Turner, to the recurrent battles, the definitive victories, and just the profound personal growth that can come out of it all.
It really does underline those universal themes, doesn't it? Resilience.
Yeah.
The absolute importance of medical awareness, like knowing those screening ages.
And finding purpose, finding meaning even when things are incredibly tough.
It's a real testament to the human spirit, I think.
Mm.
And maybe for you listening, it's worth reflecting. What really stands out to you from these stories?
Yeah, that's a good question. How do these accounts, shared by people we often see in a very different light, how do they connect with your own understanding of health or vulnerability or strength?
Mhm.
And maybe here's something else to think about, a final thought to leave you with. How does this public sharing, celebrities opening up about these deeply personal health battles, how does that shape our collective view?
Our empathy, maybe? Our understanding?
Possibly even our own health choices. What role do these figures actually play just by sharing their journeys in, say, destigmatizing illness or promoting health awareness?
It's a fascinating question, something to mull over.
Definitely. Well, that's our deep dive for today. We'll see you next time.